Snow had just started to melt around the pond, leaving the air heavy with the smell of wet earth and pine. I was away for 3 days, meeting with contractors about repairing one of the old barns on the south pasture. When I returned, I knew something was wrong the moment I crested the ridge. The lodge, my family's sanctuary, was gone. At first, I thought my eyes deceived me. Smoke still curled lazily from the charred timbers, and the land looked scraped raw by heavy machinery. The porch, the stone chimney, the weathered walls my grandfather had built with his hands, all of it reduced to rubble. My chest tightened. My knuckles went white as I gripped the steering wheel. I slammed the truck into park and leapt out, boots crunching through the mud. Across the field, HOA Karen stood proudly with her clipboard, surrounded by board members and smug contractors. "You can't be here," she barked the moment she saw me. "This area is under HOA jurisdiction now. Your structure was a violation, and we exercised our right to demolish." I stared at the ruins, heart pounding. Violation? You destroyed a century-old residence without permits, without notice, without authority. This land doesn't even fall under your association. Karen smirked. "It does now. The board voted to expand the boundary lines. Your refusal to join left us no choice." The arrogance in her voice made my stomach turn. But then, as I stepped closer, I noticed something. Amid the wreckage, a stone foundation had been exposed. Layers of carved rock my grandfather had always told me were older than the lodge itself. Karen saw my eyes narrow. What are you staring at?" I crouched, brushing away soot and ash. There, carved into the stones, were markings, etched spirals and symbols that glimmered faintly in the sunlight. They weren't random. They were artifacts. My grandfather's stories came rushing back. He used to say the land was once home to ancient people, that beneath the lodge lay something sacred. Most dismissed it as folklore. But now, with the markings uncovered, I realized he had been right. I pulled out my phone, snapping photos, then called a friend at the State University's archaeology department. Within an hour, a team of experts was on their way. Karen stomped her foot, her shrill voice rising. "This is irrelevant. You're trespassing on HOA property." I turned to her, voice like steel. "No, Karen. What you've done is destroy a protected historical site. And you just committed a federal crime." Her face drained of color. When the archaeologists arrived, their reaction was immediate. They roped off the site, examined the stones, and confirmed the truth. The foundation was part of a pre-colonial settlement. It was priceless, irreplaceable, and now partially destroyed by Karen's recklessness. Law enforcement showed up next, summoned by the university. Karen's protests grew wilder with every passing minute. "It was my right. The board approved it." He refused compliance, but the sheriff wasn't having it. "You don't have the right to demolish private property, and you sure as hell don't have the right to destroy archaeological landmarks." Karen and her board were placed under investigation immediately. Charges ranged from unlawful demolition to destruction of cultural heritage. The penalties were severe: federal prison time, millions in fines, and the permanent dissolution of their HOA charter. As they were escorted away, Karen shrieked, "You can't do this. I am the community. You'll regret this." I ignored her. My focus was on the foundation, the remnants of history that had survived even the flames. Weeks later, the site was officially declared a safeguarded archaeological landmark. The land was placed under state protection, but since I was the legal owner, I was designated its custodian. Grants and funding poured in to preserve the site, turning what Karen tried to erase into something that would stand for generations. Standing at the edge of the pond one evening, I watched the archaeologists work under the fading light. My spouse slipped a hand into mine, their eyes reflecting the fire of the sunset. "She thought she could erase you," they said softly. I nodded. "Instead, she uncovered something greater than all of us. The lodge could be rebuilt. Walls and timbers could be replaced. But what lay beneath, the stones, the carvings, the story of a people long before us, that was eternal. Karen had tried to wipe out my family's legacy. Instead, she had enshrined it forever. And as the first stars appeared above the pond, I realized. She hadn't destroyed my home. She had only made its roots deeper.